Good evening, everybody in the vinyl community and on YouTube. Sorry it's been a while. I first off want to say thank you. I've hit my 500 subscriber last weekend, I believe, and I was gonna do a video last weekend, and then like Tom Petty passed away, and the Las Vegas thing happened, and I just didn't really feel like it. I just wasn't really feeling it last weekend. So I gave myself a week to kind of I guess just kind of get back into the groove of things, and kind of good thing I did because I last weekend I was able to pick up this lot, and I've been doing pretty good in my opinion, at least recently, with just buying lots of records from people locally here in the South Texas area, and getting some good stuff in there. Nothing that's considered like a holy grail, but I'm not paying a lot for these. If you watched my last haul video, I believe it was $40 for that lot of records, and it was like 60 albums, and it was I felt like there was quite a few really good good albums in there. This one I paid $30 for, and it's like 150 albums. Now, as you can see from the first, couple of records here on the front, that's a pretty old school lot of records, which I guess technically all of them are, but this is ranging between the 50s and early 60s. And again, $30, and I definitely got well more than my money's worth. Again, nothing holy grail in there, but I'll just flip through these as I start talking. Like this one right here, Bobby Gentry, and this was a really good album, and it's in great shape. I mean, it really is. It's um, the cover looks really good. I mean, the spines on it. See if I can get that in there. I mean, it looks great. So I've really have started to have a lot of fun with these albums or these lots that I'm buying, because I'm getting like stuff like this. This cover is split, so that's seen better days. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely getting my money's worth, um, and I think this is kind of personally, at least in my case, a this is kind of my thrift store. I can't think of the phrase I want to look for, but I see a lot of um, vinyl collectors out there in the community who just have this unbelievable success with thrift stores, um, and I see including myself, a lot of people get really jealous of that. It's just like how I go to the thrift store and I find crap, and it's always gospel and crap that's in bad shape, and how are you finding all this stuff? And you know like this one, this is a cool one. I would definitely want to check that one out. But just how is it that you're finding all this stuff? And I don't know, like I've always felt the same way. I've gone to Goodwill and thrift stores, and I found a couple things here and there, but nothing that's worth a damn. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, really nothing that's worth a damn. But since I've started collecting for a little over a decade now, where I've really had my scores has been in the lots. And I've probably purchased, and I'm just throwing a number out there, 10 lots of records that are probably over 20. Here's another one that's split up pretty bad. Obviously, the whole thing's. But I probably bought 10 lots of records that is 20 to 25 plus. And I've say 80% or 8 of those has been what I consider a successful pull. The other 2 sets were just I got them and they were just in terrible shape, and or it was just nothing that I really would consider anything worth a damn. But usually when I pay for these lots of 20 to 25 plus, I'm not paying any more than $50 most of the time. And I feel like the investment that I'm making, even if it was a terrible lot, I feel still like that I'm not losing money out. I'm not putting myself out and getting nothing. There's usually at least one album in the mix that's worth a damn, that to me makes it worth the purchase. But I mean, the 80% that I'm referring to, I'm stating that like I feel like that was like above and beyond the value that I paid for it, including like this one here. Now again, sorry, I'm gonna move the camera here. Like none of this is great, nothing holy grail, but there's a lot of really good stuff in here, and for $30, I'm not gonna complain at all. $30 is there's a few albums in here probably worth more than that by itself. So I think kind of what I'm getting at is, if you feel like you're striking out real bad in the thrift store, um, the thrift store shopping, don't give up. It may just be a region thing. Maybe you need to find, where are the old records at? Are they being sold in garage sales? Maybe you hit garage sales instead of hitting thrift stores. Maybe you hit estate sales. You gotta kind of find out. It's weird because again, I've been doing this for probably 12 years now, like collecting pretty significantly, and I've been to thrift stores and Goodwills and stuff a million times, and I never do nothing. But I've found so many albums on garage sales and just meeting people who, like neighbors of mine who know people who are selling out their albums. So, I hope that helps. It might just kind of point you in a different direction that you haven't taken before, and maybe it'll help you land some good LPs. Definitely, just a word of advice in your area: hit people that are moving. I found that a lot of people, especially people who have their collections and they've just been in the garage for years and years and years, a lot of times they don't want to take these with them. It's heavy and it's a lot of work. And I've just found that most of the time people that are moving and they just want to get them out of their way, they just want to get them out the door. And you can usually get some really, really good deals. This is another one I was really happy about. You can usually get some really good deals with people just trying to move them so they can move out. They don't want to haul all those LPs with them. And and then lastly, I think a lot of people are just wanting to know that their stuff's going to go to a good home. People. One thing that's always fascinated me with collecting is that every album has a story behind it, and people really, really, really want to make sure that their stuff is going to be taken care of. It's almost like a child. It's really, they're so attached to them, even after all these years and having them sitting in a in a garage. They don't want to just hand them over to anybody. So if you're one of those guys that's just looking to take somebody's collection and sell them off for way more than they're worth, I mean, I guess it is what it is. You're able to do whatever you want to do, but just know, like, a lot of these people are almost in a sense trusting that you're going to take them and take care of their albums. And I think that when I see that much passion with people and how serious they are about their LPs, I take I don't know, going through them, I just always had this really connection. Like, you can tell a lot about somebody. Just going through this collection. I always say the gentleman was military. because I've seen a handful of military LPs in here. Some hymnal LPs and stuff where you can tell they're religious. Just as simple. Even I noticed going through all these old Columbia and these old labels had, you know, a mono and a stereo version, and this guy bought all the stereo. Like every one of these in here is stereo, except for unless it just didn't come in stereo, which could just be a coincidence. But it almost kind of tells me, because back then in the 50s and 60s, stereo was, you know, I would imagine kind of like along the same lines as like surround sound, and you know how we have all this very, very high tech sound. And I may be off on this because wasn't around back in those decades, but I would imagine stereo is probably, you know, considered higher quality or better sound. And just going through this and seeing all the stereo releases just kind of tells me that this gentleman was probably into, you know, into the quality of the albums. He bought the stereo thinking that they were, you know, a better quality, I guess. That's what I'm getting at. And sorry, I'm just kind of rambling on as I go through these, but all this kind of stuff goes through my head as I'm going through all this different, these different LPs, and it's like going through a, what's the word, time capsule, and just seeing what they were listening to back then. And I don't know, it's just interesting to me. This is just another part of the reason why I like collecting, is I just like kind of looking at stuff like this. And sometimes I'm sure people are thinking to themselves like, you're thinking way too much into this, or, you know, whatever. But I don't know, it's just part of the fascination with me. I guess the part of the obsession that I have is just, these are the kind of things that I think about when I go through somebody's collection that I just bought. That's awesome. I'm gonna play this when I get done with this. So again, I got all these for $30, and there's a bag over there against the wall that I don't know. There's probably another 15 or 20 kind of loose albums in there, but I'm not gonna put them on here because they didn't have the covers with them. Again, most of these are, I haven't found one yet that's in just such terrible shape that I can't play it. Most of them are in, when you look at the visual terms, like very good plus to near mint. I've seen some near mint wax in here. All right, so I went through all of them. Figured y'all like to see those as much as I do. And again, I kind of hope I give you some pointers. You know, try some different things in your area, and you know, see what works for you. Me personally, thrift stores, you know, now that I say that, I'll probably find something good, but I've just, it's been just a complete strikeout for me to do thrift stores. But I feel like personally I get the best value from garage sales and lots, and hopefully maybe you will too. So check it out, give it a try. You know, try looking people up in some of the classifieds and different ways of, you know, Facebook Marketplace is a real good place to start, because they people advertise garage sales and everything all the time. Ask around your neighborhood. You know, ask your neighbors. You'd be surprised. You keep kind of plugging yourself enough to where they you know, they know like, okay, this guy wants to buy records. I've had two lots myself that I've bought where people called me and said, "Hey, you're the one who wants to buy records, right?" Yeah. And then they say, "Oh, okay, here's this guy's number. He wants to sell them." So yeah, I hope that helps everybody. Again, thank you so much for subscribing and watching the videos. I actually created a website last weekend. That was another thing I did. Took up a lot of my time. So please check it out. I'm doing like a little blog. Working on doing a podcast as well as I'm actually going to be starting like a little bit of merchandise, like selling some stuff. I'm coming up with some designs for some t-shirts and coffee cups and things like that. So really trying to build my channel and the Still Spinning name. And I greatly appreciate everybody who's watched thus far. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Just go down below and click the subscribe button. And the same thing, if you like this video, please click the like button as well. And thank y'all so much again. And y'all have a wonderful weekend. And we'll be making more videos here later this week.